The story of David and Goliath in the Bible in 1 Samuel chapter 17. What really went on there? And what is really the significance of the story? Of course, it's an historical event that we take at face value. But here's David. He comes to the battleground where there's the Philistines and the Israelite army. And there's a valley between the two, and it seems as though everything is at a stalemate because nobody wants to make a move, because the first army that goes down into the valley is most likely going to be at a disadvantage. But out of this group of Philistines, there's this great, huge figure of a man. He steps out and he challenges in a very mocking way, mocking God and mocking the Israelites and mocking all those who appreciate God. A little bit like nowadays, there's a lack of appreciation in the world for God and those that follow him, and we go along with that, and Jesus told us beforehand that that would happen. But here's this giant called Goliath. But the Israelite people and the army in that situation, Saul included, who was the king, they're just terrified at this guy. And then comes this shepherd boy who the Israelite, at least his brothers, they say, like, go home already. Like you don't belong here. Go and tend the sheep. Like you're not a warrior. You're just a shepherd boy. You have no reason to be here, although he was bringing them food as asked by his father to do so. But here we have this challenge, and David, he comes out of this group and he looks around, and by the way, he doesn't do this ignorantly. He goes about and he asks a couple of the soldiers, what exactly is going on here? Like, what's this challenge and what's this about? And he asks a number of times, and in the meantime, his brother is telling him, as like, leave them alone, like, just go home. And David says, no, I'm not going home. I need to do something here. And so he says to Saul, he said, you know what? And to the people around, he says, you know what? I'll challenge him. I can deal with this. Now, he's such an intimidating figure, intimidating to everybody else, but not to David. Now, David, he's very humble in this situation, and he credits God, and he says, God will give me the victory. And by the way, I have had big challenges, even as a shepherd, with lions and with wolves and with a club and a sling. I can deal with the situation. But this giant, with 125 pounds of armor, a massive sword, and of course his shield was carried by somebody else as a shield bearer. But what did David know? Who really had the advantage in this situation? David picks up some stones and he has a sling. And David, I think, knew in his heart, yes, he credits God, but David knew he had the skill and he had the accuracy to put the stone exactly between this giant's eyes. And he knew he could do it. And he could do it from quite a distance that the sword of the giant could never reach. And by the time the stone hit the giant in this situation, the giant hadn't even made a move. But he mocked David, he made fun of him, and he said, who are you, like a dog coming to me? Like, it's ridiculous. And David wasn't intimidated, and we shouldn't be intimidated by things that come the criticism that comes our way either. Stand by God's strength, stand by God's word. We have the advantage because we have God on our team, and we are on his team. And David, that's how David thought. And so many Christians are too intimidated by the frailty of the world kind of masterpieces of manipulation. Stick to the Jesus way. And so David, he gets his sling. And by the way, slingers were known in that day to be able to hit a flying bird with a stone by slinging it. So it wasn't something that was unknown in that time, but it seemed to me none of the soldiers of the Israelite army were aware of this. But here he is. He kills this giant who was mocking God and mocking him. And David becomes a huge hero to the people of Israel, particularly the women. The women, they cried out when David came there. He said, "Oh, Saul has killed 1,000, and David has killed tens of thousands." After a while, as he became more and more part of the Israelite aspects of the kingdom aspects. So there you have it, a little story about David. And you know what? David had the advantage, and he knew it. God bless you.